the YouTube chat is going to function, that I can actually chat with you guys. Let's see, stream settings, excellent connection, excellent. Good. Let me refresh page here. Okay, well, I got faith the chat will work eventually. Anyways, hello everyone, and welcome to the first stream back. It's been a week and a bit. Here we go. Been a week and a bit, and we have been busy. Well, mostly we've been sick, but aside from that, we've been busy. We have another video coming out, if not tomorrow, then the day after. We've got some more stuff coming up after that. We have, can I move this to here? Here we go. Take a look at my to-do list here of different stuff. Yeah, we have a video coming out, or we're gonna record a video on how to optimize workflows, which that's something that I know a lot of people are curious about, even though they don't ask up front about it. Everyone wants to know, how can I edit faster? And today we're going to be remaking a video I saw the other day that I thought was quite interesting, that there was only an Adobe version for this video. And the video is about mastering text animation, but just in Adobe. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, I wonder why it's why there's only one of those for Adobe. There should be one for DaVinci Resolve. So that is exactly that's exactly what we're going to be looking at and remaking today. I'm trying to get my stream. I'm trying to get my stream chat to function properly here so that I can actually see what you guys are saying. Oh wow, I just saw something awesome. I'm gonna have to watch that later. Apparently there's going to be a Super Mario Galaxy movie. Okay, we go right into the control room. Is this gonna work now? Perfect. Live chat is available. Now I can actually see what's going on here. All right. So when I'm looking at our reference, it is why this is playing so slow. But looking at our reference here, is this also back? Let me double check something on our full screen display. Yeah. Okay. That looks fine. Weird. I wonder why it's squishing down there. Anyways, in our reference, yeah, that's strange. Pushing out just a bit. Anyways, in our reference here, we have this, and I'm going to make this half resolution. We've got a cool little animation at the beginning, and this is done with a combination of 2D and 3D stuff. You actually have an image plane for a lot of this, and it literally just looks like this, and your camera will move based on how you want the angle to be. So if I go to the camera here and I adjust this, you can see I can change the way this whole thing feels. It's just all in 3D space. But I want it to be kind of similar to what we're seeing here. So I'm taking a look, and this actually needs to be a little further away. What frame are we on for this? Let's see. And we are moving as well. Let's just first replicate this. I need to move this text layer. Actually, I need to move everything, to size everything down. Need to size this down. Need to size it down basically like that. Everything needs to be sized down. Even, where is it? Even this is getting sized down here. Move this point over. Layout. Form. Did I have this before? That's fine. Fine how it is. This is fine how it is. I think it's it's type. Then the path, circle, back to path, and then why can I not make adjustments to this? Here, what have I done to block this? And then I should be able adjustments. Path. Oh, you know what? I'm pretty sure it's because. Nope, it's not because this is an. But there is a reason. And honestly, I may just have to take this, delete that, and reconnect this, move it up, but layout, path, and right on exactly what it is that path looks like. So I want enough space where the is has its own area. And there we go. I need this stretched out. Oops. This stretched out. And I'm going to want this stretched out as well. And now we'll be able to, you can see we're getting closer and closer to our reference here. Just by pulling these in different directions. Now, when I size this down, I won't want to do it via that. I want to do it via, I think, back here. Here we go. Just with my scale. And it looks, or it's getting to look a little more similar to our reference here. I'm going to move is a little bit up and away, and let's add an extra space. There we go. So now we can move our camera around bit look something like this. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get a transform 3D so that I can move all 3 bits of this text at the same time, which is easier than trying to move all 3 pieces individually. I'm seeing a slight upward take. That means I'm going to want like this. Yeah, I'm going to want something like this, and then I'm going to pull this a little bit further away from, here we go. Pull this a little bit further away from our wall here, because remember, we do have an actual 3D plane here. So when we're moving things, we need to be very conscious of how far things are being moved. Hold this like here. So let's move this up just a little bit. I keep on moving it, and here we go, in small increments until we can see it similar to our reference. I'm going to move it over like that, and we're going to size it down just a bit more. And I'm going to bring my tracking in on all of these, actually. We're going to do something like this. Something like that, and oops, that's our size. Oh, that was line spacing. Here we go. So now we've got this extremely close looking, and let me pull a blur node in. Where's our red background? Here we go. It's right here. And with a blur node, I can do something like this. And then I can bring my blend on the merge itself down. And we can see we have something very similar here. But yeah, let's watch through the actual reference, so you guys can see what's going on.
This is the text animation you've been seeing everywhere. And the best part, it only takes 15 seconds to make, and you don't even need plugins. This is how you can make it. Add your text.
Pretty cool stuff. And we're gonna pause it, look at it, just so that there's no, get copyright. But you can see we've got like a blend, or not a blend. We have a blur kind of on the outside. Got a couple different camera animations. We've got some flashing of different high-profile movies, like this is Blade Runner, I believe. We've got some more text animating. There's a lot of blur. There's a lot of depth perception type stuff in here.
Add your text. Expand.
And then, of course, it goes through the actual instructions of how to make it this type of text right here, where it goes.
This is how you can make it. Add your text.
And it's really, really easy to make. So we're gonna make this, but for DaVinci Resolve, because anything you can do in Adobe, you can do with Blackmagic design software, which is Resolve. So let's jump right back into this drink. And let's continue on, shall we? Here we go. So the next part of this, so we have camera animations. We have you've been seeing. So I'm going to need to adjust this in shot 1. I'm going to need, so I have 2 different shots here basically. So actually no, we've got shot 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4, but 2 of these are just flat, and then 2 of these are actual 3D animated image planes. So we're going to start here, and I'm going to add keyframes on my camera. And it looks like we're rotating around from left to right. So we're going to see we can create something a little similar, right? But I think I want more motion. I know what it is. I know what the issue is. The issue is the target itself. So with different kinds of animation, when you're animating a camera, you can either have pick target, and that means the camera is going to stay focused in one spot no matter what, or you can have manual. You can have just like a manual track. So if I do this, I get rid of the target. Or I could do something like this. Let's actually see if this works. But yeah, here's my target. So if I move this, now the camera is going to stay there no matter what. So that means if I move this, see, it just naturally stays following. Let's take a look. Yeah, so I actually want this moving further over. This might actually work. But I need to hold the same distance, I think. Need to be the same distance away for this to work properly, because otherwise it's going to look like this. There's not like the illusion of everything being in the same spot disappears. So really quick, let's set this back to 0. And we're going to get rid of our first set of keyframes. I believe this is centered. Let me do a quick check. Hey, good. How you doing? Good to have you in here. Let's do this. Throw a grid over top. We're going to make this gray just like that. Put 3 lines. And actually, let's do, yeah, for a center, and 4 for a center. And we can see that is about centered. Your speakers broke again, or your headphones broke again? No. You know, that sounds like it could be either a big issue or a little issue, depending on what you do, what you're doing with them. Okay, I need to rotate. Rotate this. Here we go till I am centered. Actually, if I go on my... Here we go, I go on the X. So here's what my X rotation is going up and down. Here we go, and let me take a look at our reference real quick. Reference is kind of the same, but honestly, ours is a lot bigger. Oh, wait a second, let me do. Here we go, never mind. Ours is not a ton bigger. Reference is actually moving, or where the camera's moving from left to right. So actually having this be slightly off center is not a bad thing at all. So like, I think it was something like this, right? Let's see. Yeah, something like that. There's a little bit more tilt by the looks of things. See how I can achieve that result. A little bit more tilt, but it was. Here we go, this way, by the looks of it. So we're coming at it from like a more of a sideways view almost. So this is, I should be rotating this. This is my camera I'm rotating. Here we go. Need to rotate this. Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like that, because you can see, so you can tell based off of the lines here. So this, because the S is turning away from us. How can I show this? So the S, because it's turning away from us, you can see this, if this was on a drawing, this corner would be higher than this corner. So that's how I can tell the angle, and then it's tilted back. So because it's tilted back, this corner is going to be jutting out a little bit further than this one. But using what we know with using what we know with how depth perception works in drawings, that allows me to replicate exactly how this all works. And I'm going to move this. There we go. I'm going to move this just like that. And that's really what this just thought that is on here is just extremely harsh. Let's just take one more look here. Hey, Domino Man, how you doing? I think this is how we're actually going to want everything to look. So let's take another look at the reference. Take a gander. And pull my grid out here. And then time to animate our camera. So there's a 2-frame dissolve here. So 1, 2, and go like that. Actually, I'm gonna just do this and just gonna kind of move into the center here. And I think it doesn't look like there's any kind of like movement up and down, which is fine. But I do think that this actually rotates. We do get a bit of, what is it, Z rotation? No, it's Y rotation. Yeah, we get a little bit of Y rotation. Just looking at our reference here. So we are going to go to our camera. I'm going to go back to here. I'm then going to go to the transform again. I'm going to put another keyframe. And I'm going to rotate this a bit. And so now we get, yeah, here we go. We get something like this, where we are properly in 3D space. But it looks like we are rotating a little bit too much, and I don't want too much rotation because then it takes away from the cinematic feel. Bringing negative 2.4. Yeah, this honestly. I think this is a little bit better. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to my keyframes. I'm going to go to my transform 3D. And because I actually want that keyframe pulled out a little bit. Good to hear, Domino's man. Glad to hear you're doing good. Will this thing be free, what you do now? So this is a video recreation that we're doing. This isn't a preset. It'd be cool. We could probably make a couple presets out of something like this. But yeah, this by itself, is just going to be a video that goes up. But I figured I would show you guys some behind the scenes stuff. We can talk a little bit about how it works so that you can see how these kinds of videos are made. I'm going to bring my blur. Actually, I'm going to bring my blend up a little bit on this, and we're going to darken our red here. Then I'm going to bring the blur size down a little bit. You take my B-spline. Here we go. And then now, I think, here we go. We'll bring this up just a tiny bit. There's so much fine tuning that goes into making effects like this. You really, especially when you're replicating at first, obviously you want to follow it as close to the original as you can. But once you move past that, then you can begin to experiment a little bit. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another transform 3D, and I'm going to reset this one. I'm going to go like this. Size this down, and I think this is a little bit closer. I think this is a little bit closer to the camera, and I'm going to bring this down a bit. Here we go. Then I'm going to unlock my scale, and I'm going to squish this down just a tad. Stretch out my X just a tad. And the reason I'm doing these changes with a transform 3D here with another one, as opposed to just adding it onto this one that already has keyframes, is because I don't want to interrupt my keyframes. Now that I have an animation set, I don't want to touch it. I want it to just stay there. I want it to just be pretty and look nice and function properly. And this way I can now that I have an animated piece, I can move it around, make any other minor adjustments that I would like without worrying about something else happening to it. So next thing that we're going to do here is all this is being rendered together. And I think what's going to happen, because I need another shot. I think I need another version of this, because this is 2D. What we're looking at on the right side, this is 2D. This is 3D. This is 3D animation, even though it's 2D. You've got the depth and everything in there. You could animate something like this to look 3D even when it's 2D. We are just straight up doing it in 3D because, I mean, that's just how I decided to do it. I could do a video on how to do it in 2D. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to need a separate version of this, I think. We have our white background. We have our circle on top of it, and I think I'm going to want a copy of this. And I'm going to move the entire rendered. So all this is my 3D stuff. I'm going to take a copy of our background here. Right, so all the way at the beginning, I'm going to take a copy of this. And I'm going to put this on top. Actually, what I am going to do is let me go all the way to the end. And I'm going to put our merge over top of a 1920 by 1080 background, just so that I always have an HD resolution set in my composition, no matter what. Okay, so I need, let's see, this, and can I put this into the background, this into the foreground, and then blend my foreground down? Yes, I can. Okay, perfect. So I want my size for this to be larger. So I can just straight up. Oh, I have this as, I know why this changed. Okay. I changed the resolution of the background to be 4K specifically for the 3D rendered part, because a 1920 by 1080 background was actually too small. It wasn't going to work properly with this. It was going to end up going off camera. So you can see our camera lines right here. A 1920 by 1080 background probably would have cut off like right here. Wouldn't have worked. But with a 4K background, it is doable. Now, with this zoomed up, take a look. This is about the same size. And I'm going to get a text plus. And all of that is going to merge over top of here. And I want it to be the exact same color as this text here. So I'm going to go pick screen color. Bing, bang, boom. Just throw some text on there just so I can get a feel for what that looks like. And now let's do this. I'm going to need this to be extra bold, I think. Actually, you know what? Semi-bold, bold, tracking, brought in, size brought down. Oh, Resolve's doing a backup. Size brought down. And there we go. So now I can animate this in. So I can go and think. I think it actually makes more sense to do something like this. Let me plug this into here. Actually, yeah, never mind. Okay, so I'm going to grab a dissolve, and that's how we're going to work this out. to get a transparent background, plug that into here. This is going to go into the foreground, and that altogether is going in to the merge. Let's take a look. There's our transparent background at 0. Okay, so I need this just on the... That means that this actually gets turned to white instead, specifically this color white, and then I take this rectangle and I plug it into this background, which means in theory, let me see, means in theory I might not need this bit here. I do this and then I go, yeah, actually never mind, I do need that, specifically because I still need the white background afterward. Okay. Oh, YouTube is... Uh-oh. What is going on? Oh, I see the stream status is poor. Well, that is not good. That is actually very bad. Oh. Okay, well... Yeah, that... Okay, that looks all right on my end, but I can tell it's not looking good on your guys' end. So... Huh. Well, the only thing we can do is keep on going, and then hopefully this will end up working out. Alright. So, the show must go on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from a 0 to a 1 here. We're going to go just like that. And I'm going to do a simple, yeah, here we go. We already have set up an S-curve for our animation in our spline editor. That's fine. Next thing I'm going to want is our text. Actually, you know what? Everything is blending in separately, so you know what? We're not even going to use a dissolve for this. I can get rid of this. I'm not even going to use a dissolve. We are going to use... Let me get my rectangle back here. We're not even going to use a dissolve. We're going to dissolve these separately. So, here's my red background. I'm going to... Do I want to do this? I could do something like this, where I have it right. Have it right on instead. However, I could also do... We could do our border width. Give me one moment here, guys. I think we might be getting some noise bleeding through, so I'm going to take care of that really quick. Okay, and we're back, and it looks like the stream might be working again. We're still getting the stream quality poor error on YouTube, but as long as you guys can kind of understand what's going on, as long as I can talk to you, then I know we will be just fine. Let me go to 0. 0 here. This is going to be 1 right there. Then I also need my center animated, and I'm going to need it down here. Let's go to our shading, pull our opacity back up so that we can see our position before our text goes invisible. And I think the way that I'm going to want to animate this in with the layout specifically, first things first, we had a little S-curve, but then I'm going to pull the top end out that everything settles a lot faster. And it looks like this comes in much, much faster. It looks like there's no ease at all at the beginning. It just pops right in. Not bad. There we go. So there is our text. Next thing we need is the B-spline, and I think I am correct. I can do this and use similar keyframes with our border width. Let's go down to 0. Boom. And then for this, I am actually going to have an S-curve for border width. I don't need any kind of keyframe there, so that we can get rid of. S-curve is fine because it looks like there's like a frame delay between the text being visible, a couple frames, and then the actual, and then the actual line being visible. So let's even pull this out. Let's take our keyframe for this actually, for our B-spline. And here it is. Go to keyframes, and I'm going to pull this up by like 2 frames. Yeah. So, you know what? Let's pull that back by 1 frame. Let's see. Okay, and then we'll go back into the spline editor. Try giving it the same look that the other one did. I'm sorry to bother you. Don't quite understand the tutorial. It gets confusing because you didn't show how to make rectangle animation and how you made the other stuff. So animation is done very simply with keyframes. So the way a keyframe works is I click on, for example, with our text here, is I click on this orange diamond and I say, okay, hold this value here. Then I move to a different frame, like right here, and then I change the value. So in this case, it's going from 0 to 1. So that's how we did the keyframes, or that's how we do the keyframes for everything that you see in videos. It's just changing the values of properties at different times. Then naturally, of course, we're going to go into our spline editor and we're going to play around. We're going to play around with it a little bit so that we can get different kind of smoothness and jumpiness for animations. Keyframing and animation is a whole video. I'm going to do a video on that for you guys because there are actual principles of animation that you can use to get really cool and really cinematic looking graphics. Yeah, I'm glad that you like the tutorial. I hope that answers your question a bit. I don't show every single tiny detail when I do videos because I don't want to waste your guys' time. Right? I don't want to be like, okay, so then I set it to this value, then I go to the next frame, and then I set it to this value, then I go to the next frame and I set it to this value. I don't want to waste your guys' time with that. I want to show you how it's done, right? Tell you, okay, so I moved it from here to here with like a frame delay in between, right? Because I already know you guys are smart enough to tell, oh, like I'm gonna need to move this over here, or if I'm sizing something, I'm gonna need to adjust the size. So to keep things interesting and to keep your guys' time valued. Right, I skip over, or I don't bore you with that kind of stuff. Here we go. So, let's see. We have this animation here. Oh, it looks like everything. Wow, everything just dipped down. Okay, camera got glitchy for. Okay, we have from 38 to 40 different space now. So let's take a look from the beginning. Yeah, not bad. So go from there. Keyframes can't make it move to the right and move according to the grid. So when I'm moving, for example, if I'm moving something to the right, let's make this. Actually, we can keep this black, and I'll bring my width down, bring my height up. So if I'm having it move to the right, I'm using my center controls. So let's put a keyframe here, put a keyframe here, and then have it move over. So I'm having it slowly move to the right. And that's just done with center controls. If I am going to stagger it out, then I'm going to make sure that, you know, I have the same keyframe or the same values here that I have here. If I want it to stay in the same spot, right? If I want it to stay here until there, and then when I move one frame over, suddenly I want it here, like in the example, right? If we play this through, right? Now it's moved over, right? So I hope that helps. So when you are when you're doing your animations, it's important to kind of think about just like in your mind before you even do anything on paper. Like when I look at this, for example, and this is a skill that you'll build over time. I'm looking at this, I can see, okay, we have, first of all, this is not a full 1920 by 1080 background, so I know, okay, I'm going to be reducing the size of my background, so I see a background node in my mind, and I can see the rectangle mask, right, that is attaching to it to create something like, let me do this as 0.75, and this is 1. So I can see in my mind, right? I can see this. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to need to put a mask onto background. Then I can see, okay, I'm going to have a ring of, like just a red ring, like someone circled things and stuff. I know that I'm going to need to have it move, and I know that I can do that with a displace and a fast noise, right? Same for the text animation. I know I can keyframe all that. Can't make it move to the right according to the grid that you're using. So I'm guessing you're talking about the even spacing. You're good. I'll tell you what, good. Go into the troubleshooting chat in the server, and then post a clip of what you have so far, and I'll take a look at it. Because otherwise, you just telling me over stream and then me trying to jump between that and this, we won't end up getting anything done. Like we can see here, we go on to the next point. I need to fade in. Need to fade in these one by one by the looks of it. So I'm gonna need to go to shading elements. I'm pretty sure this is the one. Interesting. Use one material. Sorry, I'm just... When you have point... Oh. This is new. Oh, so never mind, actually. I think text 3D was always like this. I was thinking about this as just being text. All right, let's do... Can I add a follower onto this? Or am I going to need... I think I might need 3 of these instead. Because a follower works with a normal text plus, but it does not work with text 3D apparently. Ah, okay. So now I can understand you a little bit more. Good. We're gonna do this one as is. This one is the. And this last one is text. Here's what I'm gonna do so that all these can work properly. Pull that down. We pull down and this down. Let's see. That has just the has X'd text. So good. What will help more then is as I'm putting out, because I'm putting out more and more videos on how Fusion works. Those are gonna help you understand Fusion, so you know what you're doing exactly. Good. Because yeah, trying to do something like that from zero with no prior knowledge of how Fusion works is going to prove to be a little difficult, and that's a big issue that a lot of Fusion users run into. Is like, oh, I've never used Fusion before, but I want to make this this effect here, and I don't know how to do that, and so someone will make a tutorial on it, and what will happen is you'll click a couple buttons and you'll get the result that you want, but you'll have no idea how you got there. And so by the time you decide, oh, I want to make something else, or I want to, I want to replicate the thing that I just made, but I want to make some adjustments, then you don't have that knowledge. And then it looks like the animation. Same thing with the animation. The animation. Holy. Over 2 frames, which really isn't much. Yeah, tell you what, good. We'll send send a screenshot of your node graph so far in the troubleshooting chat, and then we'll jump into the voice chat in the server afterward, and we'll run through it together. So next thing I'm gonna want, I believe, is it's like a vector motion blur, something like that. So or is it a... Oh, let me just type in blur actually and see all the different ones that come up. Filmic blur, filter edge, elliptical, directional, vector motion blur, depth blur. Maybe it's 360. It might be 360, honestly. E-focus. Let's try this one. Give this a try. And see how this works. This is half of doing things in Resolve. Okay, now here's my question. Why is this cut in half. Left transform, right transform. Wow. Okay, never mind. This is something for me to explore another day. Today, we are going to do this. And there's a way to do this. I do not remember for the life of me how. We might just end up doing like a lens. Or does the camera has a blur on. Full visibility, subdivisions, come back, stereo. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is instead we're basically going to little blur and let me put this back up to full scale resolution. You can see what we're doing. Anamorphism there. Pull this down. Actually, no, and I want to leave my highlights down. You're going to sleep? All right, good. Good to see you. Good to have you in the chat again. And the way that I want this to function, I'm going to throw a mask on top of it. We're going to invert the mask. I'm going to put this down. Just like this, and I'm basically going to size this until it's kind of like that. And I'm going to soften it. I'm going to really bring edges of the ellipse in. Let's get real close so I can. I don't know if I want. Yeah, I think being morphism will the animal down a little. Chroma shift, don't really need. Highlights, keep highlights down. And I was probably more like this. And then now let's bring our soft edge down and then slowly start bring it up so we can see how everything's being affected. All right. So let's pull this right here. It looks like there's honestly a lot more blur. Just taking a look at the shape of this, trying to get a feel for how it's working. Soft blur up. Honestly, it even seems like there's a little bit of blur in the middle. Yeah, something like that. And then there's like a second little area. There's a second little area in here, almost where it's just not allowed to happen, or it's softened out a lot more. So if I pop into here and I rotate this, it's kind of like that. And let's adjust our paint mode, like multiply. And then I'm going to invert this. Here we go. I can soften this out a little bit more. Like that. And so we're keeping the center to be a little bit more, or a little bit sharper than the rest of it, but we're not having it be as exaggerated. Or we're not having the blur effect as much as if we just had a singular soft edge. Because what you're doing when you have a soft edge on anything is I'm going like this, and I'm going, okay, you're going to affect this area, and to make this a lot more pronounced, we'll do this. So it is black foreground, white background. Now, if I get a second ellipse, and let's invert this. So I'm like, okay, I want this to be kind of crazy. I want it like that. So this isn't going to be pure white in the middle, but I can add another ellipse. I can change our paint mode to multiply, invert this, and I can bring this down, and I can add another layer of, I can add a second ellipse with some more soft edge in there, and that ends up having a, like adding an extra filter compared to this, right? So there's your difference there. That's what's happening.
More vacay mode when you switch to scope.
Have an ad for our music. We did not want that. Something's going awry. We're getting ads, guys. Okay, we're back. Nice. Right, so anyways, that's all we're doing with the blur, is we're making it easier for us to see the center without completely destroying everything. And it looks like it continues to soften. So here, our background here is going to continue to soften. So I can actually bring the blur size up as we go along, and until it's just basically gone. And let's pull this up. Pull it up to like there, and we go to my blend mode, go back on our keyframe, and just pull this basically down to nothing, so that over time it's going to continue to fade. And it seems like how I'm going on it with spline, I'm going to want this to be more linear. But yeah, you can still see it. And I'll kind of do the same with our blur node as well, where I make the change to be a bit more linear along. Yeah, let's make that just like full linear. Oop, just like that. Bam. Okay. So now that we have that out of the way, what we are going to do is, well, first we're going to wait for everything to render in. I'm going to move over a couple frames. Here we go. just the render itself. Move back because we need to make this second shot. This is what we need to make. It's what we need next. And as far as I see, yeah, there's no active blur controls or soften controls when you have, actually, let's see advanced. So yeah, advanced controls, we don't have any active softening controls when it's 3D text, which that'd be kind of interesting to see what they would do for something in 3D space, how you would add that softness on, whether you would just, because you wouldn't be able to do it. I guess you could, it would kind of look almost like particles, I guess. Anyways, next shot. So camera, I'm going to need 2 cameras, I think. I think I'm gonna have to switch. Just plug this in here. You know what's funny is I've messed a ton with I've messed a ton with 3D stuff. And usually when I have a camera, what I'll do is I'll simply adjust my keyframes, but because we have 2 things blending into each other, I think what I'm gonna need to do is literally make a copy of this whole part of our composition here, and then just another camera on there. There is probably a way to just do it with 2 cameras, but that is not something I'm going to learn live on stream today, so we'll learn that another day, and then I'll probably do video on it. I'll show you guys how to use multiple cameras. So, let's see, lens blur. And let's move 2 frames over and take a look, see exactly how I'm gonna want this. And we can see our our red ring around here. You guys might not be able to see it as well. What I'll do is I will temporarily turn off the blur. And I'm gonna reset all of these. 0. Now we're gonna move this here. And I'm gonna hit target for now. Then I'm just gonna get into the camera position that I want to be in. So as I am moving this around, I can tell it's going to be from the right side. It is going to be probably a little and my media reference, something like that. And now with my text selected, I'm gonna leave my Y animation because it's fine, or my rotation. You know what? Reset that. Now I'm gonna want to bring this here, and I'm gonna want something like that. Here we go. But I need the S. The S coming toward it, angled more like that. further away. So now I can mess with the lens blur again. Putting it here. We can bring the soft edge up a whole bunch. I can actually make this much bigger. This is going to be crazy blurred by the looks of it. I'm going to do just something like this. Soft blur is all the way up on that. And I'm going to rotate this. Again, I'm going to move it over. And I honestly think, yeah, there we go. Now I can turn the blur back on. Boom, just like that. Not bad. Not bad. And I think the way I'm going to do my animation for our letters is very, very straightforward. We're not doing anything crazy today. So it's just going to be blurring things in and out. And I think what I'm going to do as well is I'm not going to just automatically have this as been seeing or you've. I'm going to switch it once it's on. But we'll set it back. We'll set it. We're going to copy this original first, and then I'm going to make the adjustment after, just so that when we watch everything back, it's all smooth and consistent. So let's make copies of our text here. And I'm going to go these spaces we have here. Ooh, we just try. I'm going to do this. And I'm just going to make a couple copies of this. We're going to go boom, delete, place, place, bin, and seeing. And now, if I pull these over to the side here and stagger them a little bit so I can tell where exactly connecting. The Uv is in the correct spot. The bin needs to be adjusted. Oh, good. I'm just doing the right on and right off for these. And then if I disconnect these, here we'll take a look at what this looks like right now. I can see the bean needs to be adjusted a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another space. We'll do something like and oh, and I can do position on path too. Forgot about that. So let's do transform. I might honestly need the 3D transform. Let's see. This this might work. So then it would end up being that, the bean ends up being here, but it's not, doesn't have that same kind of rotation. I'm gonna go like this, down, and it's not stretched. Add, yeah, on the transform here, I had a little bit of extra stretch, which now that I'm looking at it, it honestly just looks like the word is, there we go, stretched a little. Hey, Tachi, or is it Tachi or Tachi? Don't know exactly what we're making right now. So I saw a video that was titled how to, yeah, it was right here at the top, how to master text animation in After Effects. That was the title, and in under 1 minute or minutes. And I haven't seen a video that was anything like that for DaVinci Resolve. So I watched it through and I went, okay, I can make this in Fusion. So we're making right now, we're making a similar version of this, but we're going to make it for DaVinci Resolve. So the first couple seconds, my headphones keep disconnecting. The heck. So the first couple seconds are going to be replicated as close as we can. And then the second half, or the second 2/3 are all very fast instructional video. And so we're going to create that exact same, style. We're going to emulate it, but we're doing it for DaVinci Resolve. So I'm just creating the first part here on stream so you guys can see kind of the behind the scenes of how you would do, you know, something like this. Right. Tachi. Okay. Thanks for explaining. Love the concept already. I'm glad. It's gonna be really, really cool once it's done. Let me do this. I'll play through part of it, but we'll play it without. Yeah, so you can see this is what we're looking at. So we've already made this part. We've made this part. We are making this third shot now, and this is a 2D shot. This you could make 2D, but it's easier to do it 3D. So we're doing it 3D, 3D, then 2D, and then a whole bunch of different cinematic shots of some really good movies. And then this is the actual text right here that gets made. And it's really, really easy to do. It's like a follower, a glow, couple other things. And so I'm going to make this. I'll probably drop this part. I know Feliz, I think, was asking, hey, are we going to see any presets coming out of today's stream? And what I think I'm going to do is make this text, release it as a preset. Yeah, it only takes 15. You don't even need plugins. Yeah, this right here. Really, this is honestly really easy to make. Don't even need plugins. This is how you do it. Do expand the layer, do this, blah blah blah, set do da. I don't even know what half of this stuff is. I'm not an After Effects user. I've used After Effects once, and I made a really cool follower animation for a buddy of mine who does Twitch streaming. And then I went, this is a very odd, unintuitive way to make motion graphics. So, well, that's part of the reason why we're in Fusion. So yeah, it's just like, oh, like some subtitles here to show you, here's how you make it. Do. If you want the exact project file, it's like comment and I'll DM it. What I'm probably going to do is just release it as a free preset, because why not? Easy to make. And then, of course, we've got some shots of popular movies that we're going to throw here in. I'm going to throw these into the background for this shot. And then we had some extra shots. This is like one of the Matrix. I forget what this is. I think this is from Split. This is Batman, obviously, and then again, don't know what this is. Don't know what this is, but really, really cool color grades. Color grading is its own deal. Let's see. I did an audio visualizer in After Effects. Can you do that in Fusion? Hey, Max, by the way. Max, we're making a video. You can see the top here. How to master text animation in DaVinci Resolve. There was a video that was originally doing this for After Effects. I'm gonna make the Resolve version because come on, we need a Resolve version. Adobe, I'm not letting Adobe get away with this. No way. You do be braining. Or yeah, you do be braining, damn. So you can probably do an audio visualizer on After Effects. I wouldn't be surprised. I know there's even like just a plugin for an audio visualizer in, where is it? In OBS. Like even just in recording, if you want audio visualizers, you can do that. I'm a beginner and I want to learn DaVinci, so for me this is way better, and the fact that you're converting it to Resolve is the tops. Hell yeah. Of course. Adobe, all the Adobe stuff, for people going, no man, you can't do that in DaVinci Resolve, you need to use After Effects. Half the people, or most of the people who will tell you that, have not used Fusion, or they've jumped into here and they've gone, okay, what's this, a rectangle mask? Okay, so you can mask things out and you can type some text and things. Wow, that's not really motion graphics. They have no idea. They have no idea what you can do here. Like I can do all of this and more in Fusion. Where do I get my clips from? Is there a one-stop place for you? The way I found this was, I believe I just typed in like cinematic. Let me see. I typed in like colors of cinematography compilation. So like I have a I've got a knack for Google search or for YouTube search. So I was just looking for different colors, or like different color grades. So knowing that a lot of it is color grading, or there's compilations of different color grades, or compilations of really good cinematography. Right? Those are keywords that I use in my search. The power of the sun in the palm of my hands. John Fusion. Okay, Max. Max, get out of here. Max, you making people up? Are you John Fusion secretly? Or is that just like that's like a play on John Doe? John Doe. Meet John Fusion. You madman. Madman Maximus, they call him. Text you've been seeing. Yeah, here we go. So this is where it's going to be. But it's going to be smaller. And the looks of it. See, is this my... Yeah, this is... Nope, this is not the proper one. Layout. Rotate. So you can see more of it. That. And then let's move it up. So you're a beginner, eh? Good to have you with us, Tachi. Another one joins the ranks of DaVinci Resolve. Love to see it. I do love to see it. Tachi, if you don't mind me asking, what prompted you joining, or what prompted your change over to DaVinci Resolve? Because there's a lot of people have been switching softwares since probably 2020, maybe even a little bit before. And I always like to ask, hey, why did you were using Adobe for so long, what was it that prompted the move? Was it that prompted the move over from Resolve, or from Adobe into Resolve? Yeah, so here we go, looking like crazy good stuff. So now we need to fade in some of the text, fade out some of the other text. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to connect all these back in, and let's go back. This is the text animation you've been seeing. So, and I'm just instantly, this is going down, and then it's going to be like this. I'm just looking at the comparison between, and then I'm going frame by frame. So keyframe here on the Marty. Let's see. I'm also thinking of switching from Premiere Pro and After Effects, but I do motion graphics and a little, and I'm not sure if that's also possible in DaVinci Resolve. So Marty, for context, you actually joined at the perfect time. We're in the process, we're making the video about how to master text animation in DaVinci Resolve. And the whole reason I saw it was because I saw someone do something like this for After Effects, and I went, well, that's really easy to do in Resolve and in Fusion, so why not enlighten the people? So this is basically the After Effects of DaVinci Resolve, but instead of it being layers where you're stacking things on top of one another, you are using nodes instead. So it feels a lot more like building blocks instead of having to stack things and adjust stuff. So to give you a really quick example, Marty, so you can see some of the stuff. Let me go generators. So we made this in Fusion, right? Remade one-to-one in Fusion. Disney Plus logo. I have here somewhere. Here we go. Remade the Lethal Company. I don't know if you know Lethal Company. It's a popular game that came out. It's like one of those friend games that you play, collect, scrap, don't die, all that stuff. Remade completely in DaVinci Resolve, and it's modular too. So like this text, this is the way this is not a font. This is not a font. You cannot find this anywhere on the internet. This has to be custom made, and we were able to not only make it, but we were able to make it modular, right? And then you can see we've got grunge kind of all across the border and all on the letters. The way we did the grunge for the letters, believe it or not, was with particle systems. So we were able to use particles as a mask and like cut out little pieces, which is really cool for creating the modular kind of cut in the letters. Completely different, but all done inside of Fusion, right? Using super basic principles, super basic concepts. Easy stuff. Let's go into here. Do the background generator. We'll show that off a little bit. I made a little custom preset. Yeah, so nodes, everyone says, dude, nodes, man, no idea what the heck is going on. And for the first while when I started using Fusion, I had no idea either. Good news is, it's an easy concept to wrap your head around. You just need to hear someone explain it to you the right way. And number two, or I guess the second piece of good news, is I am making a series that teaches the concepts and principles of Fusion. The first video is already out, and it talks to you about how Fusion works, right? Because you see all these nodes, you're like, I know it's making the thing. I know, like, you know, every node is changing something. I have no idea how the heck that works. yeah, we've got, we already have a video that explains a little bit how Fusion works, shows you some of the basics. The next one is going to be about how you're plugging information in, inputs and outputs, right? Because in Fusion, why is this now not full screen? What's going on here? Here we go, full screen. So you have in Fusion inputs, which are these triangles, and outputs. You'll notice I do this. Not all of your inputs are the same color, and there's a very good reason for that. But for explaining stuff and for thumbnails, we made this little background here. And if I just set this on loop and then I play this, I've set this up so that I've got a whole bunch of different animations that I can do with this. So, right, never gets boring, right? And then for we do something like this. Let me set it to still. I can invert it as well. So depending what kind of theme I want, I can have it be slowly growing. I can have it be slowly shrinking. Can have it be moving down, be moving up, moving to the left, right. I can have it. I can have it grow in, I believe. So yeah, I can have it do something like that. I can have it like grow or shrink out, do something like that. I can have it ripple as well. So like all of this made inside of Fusion. And again, it's all like super basic stuff. Like I probably only used like 5 or 6 different types of nodes to do this. And then this is, right, this is not just like a natural preset that's in Resolve. I made this as a custom preset because I wanted to have it just whenever. Like you can make literally anything you want for certain explanations I'll be doing. Right? I was like, oh, it'd be good to have a like a 3D node that I could have on my screen to explain things. And so literally I can just make a 3D node here. And then I can toggle on if I want it floating, if I want it rotating, maybe I just want it floating. I can set how large I want it to be. I can take the glow off, put the glow back on. If I only need some of the inputs, like let me get rid of the yellow. Let's say it's just a mask effect, right? I can have just that. So I take the blue part of it, put it on the left side, and then change it to like rectangle. But literally, like I can just create any kind of node in 3D space and have it automatically animating itself. I don't need to do any kind of keyframes. It's just like perfect, man. And whatever, if you make an effect and you're like, I want this as a preset, you can just have it. You can just export it. You have it as a preset now. If you want to send something to a friend, if you're troubleshooting with a friend, Resolve and Fusion uses Lua code, it's a lot of math. It's a very basic, straightforward thing. You can literally take, just copy paste. You can just go boop, hit copy, go into Discord, hit paste, and it will paste just a text file. And your friend can then take that text file, click and drag it onto his node graph, and it will have all of these same nodes, right? They've made it so easy to use. Let's see. I'm not even sure that this is possible with After Effects. I'm not the best, but I've never seen this much customizability in AE. Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea, Marty. Marty, let me ask you a question. Have you ever used like animated subtitles? Anyone who's ever animated subtitles has realized, oh man, like this is not anything that I want to be spending all of my time doing. So I thought the exact same thing, right? And I went, if only there was a way that you could automatically have subtitles animated. So if I do this, so naturally, of course, we had to make a preset for it. So easy peasy. And I think this is what, 30 frames or 60 frames. Here we go. Yeah, 60 frames per second. So we have a animated subtitle preset that automatically will animate all your subtitles for you. And I've made it completely modular so that you can customize your in and out animations. So you could have it like fade in and then do like a really aggressive shake out, which is pretty cool. You could have it fade in, do like a little ripple, and then, whatever you want, have it fade out. You can have it float if you want. Like, there's just so much that you can do in Resolve. And it's all like, it's so much of this you can do for free, right? Which is crazy. You get the free version, and like there's a couple good features, or actually there's a lot of good features in the studio version, but I used the free version for, I believe, a year and a half before buying studio, because I was able to do that much with it. You do a lot. My workflow for my clients' reels is I generate them in Premiere Pro, bring them into After Effects, and apply a preset to all of them at once. Can DaVinci do this? I believe so. There is, so you have, where is it? There's in one of these tabs up here, there's a way to add what's called a subtitle track. And then when you are animating subtitles, what you can do, this was recent with, I think, version 20, is you can just take one of your text presets. So let's say you have something that's animated, and I would just click and I would drag this down here onto my subtitle track, and it would animate in for me. So, or it would animate every single word or every single line. So there's tons. I hope that answers your question. Right, and then of course, if you need customized stuff, right? Like I made this preset. It's on my store for a couple bucks. I also have a whole bunch of like free stuff that's similar to that, all animated text stuff. And you can just throw that on a subtitle track, and it'll do all of that for you. Or you can throw the animation and say, okay, I have my subtitles, but now apply the animations to them. So really, really cool stuff. Right, it'll save you a ton of time. We recently were on 20, even though this says 20 in the bottom left, we're on 20.2. So 20.2 recently added in, where is it? Is it in, I think it's in view. I was using this. This is like a brand new feature. Is it in Fairlight Workspace? Oh, this is gonna bug me. Moderate. Oh, maybe timeline, actually. Audio. Clear mute. Basically, oh, maybe I just have to do this. Maybe I need one selected. That might be what it is. But there is now a built-in feature for Resolve for removing dead silence. So because I'm doing talking head videos so much, right, you'll have a couple takes, or there'll be a few moments of silence because I'll be processing something, I'll be thinking, or I'll be setting something up. And dude, that tool cut editing, cut it down by like half, just having that, which is crazy. Royal R or Royal YR. How can I save presets on the edit page to have a subtitle pop in? And manual keyframe, can you search the features in the help tab? I believe so. Yeah, so you've got a little search bar right here, and then you also have access to both of the manuals. So you got training manual, reference manual. The way that you save presets. Right, so let's say I have an animation here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to drag a window over it. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to hit save all as. Now that is if you just have something super basic, if I want to be able to adjust the actual settings, like if I'm typing things in, which I imagine what you're doing for a text preset, I'm going to go to macro, then I'm going to hit create macro. That brings up this crazy menu here with basically every single feature you could want to have control over. You can rename them and stuff. There's all kinds of different things you can do. You can even edit the actual controls, like what things are called. If I go to edit controls here, now I can control if something's a slider, a screw, if it's range, if it's a checkbox. Like if I have a blend control, that goes from 0 to 1 and all the decimals in between. If I just want it to be a visibility checkbox, then I just switch it from whatever it is currently to checkbox. And then I can rename it, right? I can type in new name. I can go to the ID, which is blend. I can type in visibility, have that as a checkbox, hit OK, and now you can see that my blend mode has changed to just be visibility, and I can toggle it on and off like this. So literally, you can just change whatever you want, make it however you want, right? It's just like, it's so easy to use, guys. It's crazy. So where were we before we got sidetracked? Okay, yeah, so we were making this, and what word did we have here before? Yeah, this is the text animation, and then I think we wanted a keyframe here. But yeah, that's there's just so much. There's so much you can do in Resolve. It's not even funny. I'm surprised that more people don't know, because it's not like it's not hidden. I think really the main thing is because Resolve is like the up and coming, like the competitor. Just no one has been talking, because it's still so new. I'm gonna get rid of that, and I am going to rotate this, rotate that. We're gonna move this over and down so that this looks just like this. Yeah, to bin, and then we have our one key from here. You can see it. So this is our reference image. We're not using the same thing. This is our reference media. Thanks for the showcase, man. Definitely invest some more time into learning it. Hell yeah. Glad I could help, Marty. Definitely check out, I think you might be able, you can just hit the channel. We have a understanding the fundamentals of Fusion video. I think it's like 15 minutes long. That should give you a basic understanding of Fusion, and then there's a couple other videos online that will teach some more stuff, like understanding, oh, this is how Fusion works. You connect one node to another, and they all influence each other, that kind of thing. Let's see. I need this. Now to be animated. I'm gonna go 1, 2, pull this down, pull this back up. So I need this moved over. I need the actual text. I need the word text moved over so it's not imposing on one another. So they're not imposing. And then being is actually smaller, so that it seems like text is more or less in the same place. So we can this, yeah, the text being, and then for the actual seeing part, I'm going to size it up a little bit. Actually, you know what? We'll just move it over like this. We are going to angle it a little bit more. like that. Blammo. Okay, let's take a look. This is going to play a little bit slower because I have all of this stuff here. So, it's playing through like that, and then you seeing. Perfect, that's what we wanted. So, what's going to be next is the actual animation. I'm going to merge this on top. Yeah, I'm going to merge this on top of here. And I'll move our ellipses over. So now, go over just a few more frames. And we go to blend. See, this is what our blend was before. We turned it into a checkbox. I'm going to go. Another one here. Bring this down. So now the way this should play is this right here. This, yeah, so this is supposed to be beginning. This, and then for blend mode, I need to then okay, so now here we go. All right, let's take a look. Everything looks good so far. Yeah, one of the greatest things that I like about this software is anything that I see, I know I can make. Like I just, like this, for example. Right, this is, on the right is reference footage. So we're able to create almost a one-to-one recreation of the right one on the left, which and right, we did this more or less in under 2 hours, at the same time as talking about Fusion, showing other stuff. Like, unless you've mastered After Effects, then I don't know any other software that you can just do this stuff in. And I don't even know that you can do this, that someone who has mastered After Effects could just look at something and then recreate it. But Fusion just has that flexibility. Either that or it's part of my brain. Just so nice. Okay, let's animate this now. This is the one part that we didn't do, and our animation, it looks like we're coming to face it from the right to the front. I'm going to take our camera and grab all of these, set a keyframe on my rotation and translation. We're going to click off of, let me see what this will look like by the time we get to our last frame. Put keyframes here to serve everything that we have so far. Slow moving over. Target should be kind of like this. And then the target should move to 0. Let me take a no, because that is still okay. So I think here's what we're gonna do. Going to reset our target. We're not going to have any. We're not going to have any target at all. Actually, let's go into 3D space. We're looking. Let's angle like this. Back into the render. This is what we're looking at right now. And I need this to be further down. I'm going to go like that. Kind of like that. And so now, as we're moving, I'm going to take our transform and add keyframes here for our rotation. How we're gonna I think we're gonna use my rotate camera, jump over to the end, Y rotation again, and we'll go the full 2 degrees, and we'll see what that gets us. I think this is also a little bit camera. They're down though. Like that. And see if this movement is too dramatic. Honestly, I think the movement might be too much, but we can fix that right now. So the movement the movement might have been too much. Actually, no, the movement was not too much. The point of origin, the point we were rotating around, that's what was too much. So we were rotating from here instead of from the center. That is what our problem was. Here's what our text looks like, by the way, in space. We need the pivot point basically to be... Oops, I did not want to do that. Okay, yeah, never mind. Okay, pivot point. I'm gonna put right there. Now, let me take another look. And let's see how this looks. Here. Yeah, okay, that's what we wanted. But we need more rotation now. Need basically this. So I'm going to here we go. I'm going to thicken up size. Pull the tracking. There we go. So now, if I go all the way to here, take a look at this again. You guys are seeing the full behind the scenes when you're looking at something. You've got your reference up. You're like, okay, I want this exactly like this. You guys are seeing how it really takes place. Yeah, now you can see we're getting a proper rotation where this side is not rotating more than this side. It's all rotating evenly. And that honestly was the easy part. We are coming up on 2 hours here. But let's make really quick this last bit before we go. Now, yeah, here we go. I've got a little mask here. All right, so I'm gonna want inverted. You go, so foreground into background, background into foreground type thing. And now, here's my reference. We bring that back down. Put it into there. And disable my grid because I don't necessarily need that anymore. I am kind of curious though to see what how that compares. Yeah, so I can fix this. I can fix this. Bringing it down just a little bit. There we go. Easy peasy. Okay, grid's disabled. Grid's disabled. Now, 2 frames. 1, 2. Honk. There we go. And same thing with our lens blur. We're going to copy our lens blur. I'm going to paste it into here. And I'm going to throw it right in here because this is... Actually, you know what? Even before that, I'm not even going to put it on the white part because you can see that's kind of destroying it. So then if I have our background here, it's going to be affecting the white background, and I don't want that. So I'm going to plug this directly into our lens blur, plugging our text into our lens blur. There we go. So now I can pull this up, this down, and I'm just gonna straight up copy this, get rid of the old one, because I just want the same, I want the same shape, I just want the size down a little bit, and I want less of a blur. I'm gonna like this. Yeah, it's basically the same. Pull this like that. I think this is kind of more like... There we go. You've been seeing everywhere. And then I need these both moved over to the ends. There we go. So now I think we have this properly blended, right? Means, and I can pull the alpha down on this. Pull my grid off. Let's take a look at the final result so far. This is the text animation. Go. And the playback is going to be a little bit choppier, just because we're playing back at full resolution and we are doing 3D animation with blur. You've been seeing, and then we fade into everywhere. Yeah, and yeah, we have to create that. This is going to be fun to create. This will be relatively straightforward. And then I'll probably make a video on how to create this kind of animated
And the
text. Oop. Awesome stuff. Anyways, that is gonna wrap it up for today's stream. We got through the part that I wanted us to get through. I got to show you guys kind of how it's done. We showed all the BTS. We got to talk about Resolve a whole bunch. Hopefully you guys will go on to the store, grab some of the free stuff that's there. That'll help you out a ton when you're making things, right? Save you some time. And yeah, if you are new to the stream or you're watching this as a VOD, then definitely go to the link in the description, join the Discord. You'll be able to throw in requests of what kind of presets that you want to see me make, right? I'm making presets all the time. You can also put requests in for effects that you want to see made either live or as videos. Yeah, jump in there, right? You basically have nothing to lose and everything to gain. We also throw, we'll be putting like news for when we do promos, new videos, live streams, so you can stay up to date, always learn new and exciting stuff on the channel. And yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching. Good to meet you, Marty. I'm really looking forward to seeing your journey, watching you kind of grow and helping you out make some really, really cool stuff. Yeah, thank you to everyone in stream, Tachi, Felice, Domino's Man, Good, Max, Max as always, Royal YR, and Manual Keyframe. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you